Hey guys, I am a landlord and I also own a lettings agency. We manage a modest-sized portfolio in and around Birmingham, and I've been in this space for over 20 years. Something is happening recently, so I would imagine the last 6 to 9 months, which hasn't happened before. And I'm wondering if other landlords, other lettings agents, and even other tenants have noticed this themselves. So what I've noticed in the last 3 to 9 months is that applicants are being a lot more flaky. We are getting a lot more pullout. So people that will view the property, go for the referencing, and then just randomly decide to pull out for whatever reason. Right now, I'm noticing that for every tenant that successfully moves into a property, we've had at least 3 other applicants that went through referencing and then just pulled out for whatever reason. Is anybody else experiencing this? And this is even after all the pre-vetting and the pre-qualifying process that we go through as well. So before the viewing, I would pre-qualify all the prospective tenants, just to avoid wasting the prospective tenants' time and also ours and the landlord's time as well. And so we'd only take the viewing if the prospective tenant is pre-qualified. Even then, we are experiencing a lot of pullouts as well, and pullouts are really, really, really expensive. So let's imagine. When you go to referencing, you pay the holding fee, and then you've got the referencing cost. Now, for a single let, normally, family house, normally you do referencing on the 2 applicants, so husband and wife, partners, the 2 spouses, whatever. So Mr. and Mrs. normally we'll take them through referencing, and then that's a cost per person. And on top of that, we would also do referencing on their guarantor as well. In this climate, especially with the renters' right bill, you have to ask for a guarantor. Unfortunately, that is the outcome, the unintended consequences of over-regulations, or just not nonsensible regulations. Anyway, so referencing now, you'd have to put the lead tenant, the lead applicant, through referencing, plus the spouse, because they have to match up with affordability, all that sort of stuff as well, plus their guarantor. That's really expensive, and it's a very, very, it's a very time-intensive process. And then we'd have to do, it's not just referencing, you have to do checks as well, like sanctioning checks, ID checks, right to rent checks, AML checks, all that sort of stuff. And then there's ongoing checks, and then there's obviously the constant viewings, all the usual admin stuff, and you have to do that within about 14 days, really. Again, due to regulations. Now, every time, which is fine, as long as the tenant doesn't pull out, or as long as they pass or didn't lie. Now, during that period, that's rent that could have come in for that property, so that's rent that the landlord client is missing out on. So let's say the tenant goes for referencing, it takes 2 weeks, and then randomly pulls out right at the end. That's 2 weeks of rent that is now no longer available to the landlord. So basically the landlord's missed out on 2 weeks worth of rent. If the rent is about 1,300, or let's say 1,200 a month, that's 600 quid. That's a lot of money. And on top of that, obviously we've got our costs as well. And if you imagine now, that happens 3 times. So that happens 3 times before a tenant is an applicant is successful. So that we go through that 4 times, and 3 of whom will not necessarily fail, but pull out. So the issue here is prospective tenants pulling out. So long story short, a lot of tenants now, applicants, are just pulling out for whatever property, whatever reason, and we're finding, for every 1 property where a tenant moves in, or successfully moves in, we've had about 3 other applicants that pulled out for whatever reason. And I'm just wondering, are other landlords, other letting agents, are you experiencing this as well? It seems to be a recent phenomenon. And tenants, if you're renting, has your attitude towards renting changed at all? Are you more likely to pull out now? And if so, what is the reason behind it? Anyway, my name is Nguyen, where I manage high quality HMOs and single in and around Birmingham. I've just come to collect keys to get to the next property, but I thought it's just something that's been on my mind, and obviously, it can be quite a serious matter. Anyway, hope that's been helpful. See you guys. All right, bye.